أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. Today we will start from ayat number 84, Surah alBaqarah. As we studied in ayat number 83, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the promise that He had made with Bani Israel, and they did not follow through it. They did not keep their promise. Most of them did not. Over here in 84, we will study about another promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took from them. It is related to things that they should not do. Contrary to 83, ayat number 83 said things that you should do. Ayat 84 talks about things that you should not do. And then again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that they did not pay attention to this promise as well. And why both of these kinds of promises, where to do's and not to do's, are mentioned in Quran as well. So we don't follow the footsteps of Bani Israel in ignoring what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do and what He wants us not to do. I will go over the translation and then explain to you some examples of how they did not follow this ayat at all. Wa and is when. Akhazna Hamza Khazal, which means took, take, and when we took. And remember, when we took, Misaqakum, wow, Saqaf, which means a contract, a promise, La, not, Tasfikuna, Safak, Sin, Fa, Kaf, means shed. Dima'akum, dal mim waw means blood. So do not shed blood. We told them, we took the promise. La tasfikuna dima'akum, do not shed blood. Kum, of your blood, meaning killing yourself means killing your own people, your own brothers. Wala, and not. What else they were not supposed to do? Tukhrijuna kharajim, exit or evict or make them leave. Anfusakum, nun fasin, your own souls. Min, from, diyarikum, dal waw is the root. It means home. Kum, your. So do not evict yourself from your homes, meaning don't make your own people, own Muslims, have to evict their homes. It means that your own people, like Muslims, because Bani Israel were Muslims. Technically, we are all Muslims. And when the prophets came, they gave the same message that Prophet ﷺ gave, right? Then aqrartum, qaf ra ra, meaning to have peace with that, to have agreed with that. So you agreed. Wa, and antum, you, tashhadun, shin ha dal, meaning you were the witness over it. Basically, you knew that Allah has, it's not like, oh, you did something, you took a promise without knowing, or you did not understand that this was one of the conditions in your religion. And it was tashhadun actually means, of course, we are witness over whatever we do, but it shows the level of awareness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that it's like you were aware of this. It was actually very clearly, explicitly explained to you, and you knew that you were not supposed to do it. What happens in 85? Summa, then, antum, you, ha'ula'i, are the people, taqatuluna, qaf, ta, lam, means kill, qatal, it starts with ta, meaning you killed. You are those who kill. Anfusakum, yourselves, meaning your own people. Wa, and tukhrijuna, evict, kharajim, fariqan, a party, meaning faraqaf, meaning a group. Faraq, people different. So fariq is group, okay? So you made to evict the people, a group, minkum, of you, amongst yourself, min diyarihim, from their houses. Dal waw ra. Tazaharuna, zahara. Zahar means a back. Also, as an expression, it means to have your support somebody. When just like we say, I got your back. So tazaharuna, you support one another, alayhim, against them. And who are them? Then when there are non-Muslims involved, you become allies of them, and then you start killing your own people by becoming enemies of your own people indirectly. I will explain further what this means. Bil ithmi, in sin, wal udwan, ain dal waw, meaning in udwan is to transgress, to cross the line. So you help those people, meaning who are those? Because so far Allah was using kum, tum, meaning you guys, your own home. Do not kill yourself. Do not make yourself evict the homes. Over here, alayhim, meaning you help those, you support those in the itham, in the sins and in transgression. So these him are those people, those are non-Muslims. So those people who are not your brothers, but you help them because there is a worldly benefit in that, and then you do not care who you are killing while you are supporting them. Wa and in if ya'tukum, hamza ta ya is the root, which means come, kum to you. And when come to you, who comes to you? Usara. Usara means slaves or captives, so captives of war. The root is hamza sin ra. So when the captives of war or the battles, they come to you. Tufaduhum, fadal ya, which means to ransom. So you give ransom for them. Wahuwa, and while it muharramun, haramim, which was forbidden, it was haram alaykum, upon you, ikhrajuhum, kharajim, to evict them in the first place. Right? So you did that haram thing by helping the non-Muslims in getting all the Muslims evicted from their homes. But now when they come to you as slaves, when you see that those are war captives, you go like, oh, these are our people, we should just spend some money and get them freed. So you're following one thing and you are not following the other thing, which is more important. First, help in getting the wrong things done. Anyways, let's read further. Alaykum ikhrajuhum. So when it was forbidden, when it was haram upon you to get them evicted. So fa tu'minuna, hamza mim nun. So you believe bi ba'din, ba'd ba ain dad, meaning in part, al kitabi, of the book. So you believe in a part of the book. Wa and takfuruna, kafara, and to kufr and disbelieve bi ba'din, in one part. It's like a question Allah is asking, that how does it make sense that you just completely totally ignore one part where Allah is saying don't kill your people, don't get them evicted, support them, and first you go and support the non-Muslims and let all the mess happen to the Muslims, and then you're like, oh, these are our Muslims, so we should just get them freed because it's our duty to help the Muslims. So this doesn't make sense at many levels. First, Allah is asking, so you believe in some parts of the book and then you completely ignore some part. It clearly shows that you do know what the ahkam, what the commands of Allah are, but you're trying to do like the pick and choose thing, that I like to do this, so I will do it, but I have to see how it matters that who I'm associated with in this world, who I'm linked with, what my status is. I cannot go against non-Muslims, so I have to support them. I have to let them do anything that they want to do with the rest of the Muslims. Fama, then what? Jaza'u, jim zaiya, meaning jaza, the return, recompense. Man, for those. Yaf'alu, fa'ain lam, who does. Fa'al is the work to do. Zalika, that, minkum, among you. Illa, except khizyun, disgrace. Khaza hamza. Fil hayat dunya, in the hayat of dunya, in the life of this dunya. Hayat, haya, ya, dunya, dal, noon, wow. Wa, and yawma, on the day, al-qiyamati, the resurrection, qafa mim is the root, and for this dunya there is going to be disgrace. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let that person become very respectful, those who just run after the worldly gains. And then Allah says that on the day of judgment, what will happen? Yuraduna, ra dal dal, rad, meaning somebody who's rejected, dismissed, rad. So they will be sent back ila, to ashaddil azab, the azab that would be ashad. Sheen dal dal means more, extreme, and ashad is the superlative degree, so it's like very really extreme azab. So in this dunya they will get disgrace, but in the akhirah they will have ashad al azab. Wamallahu, and not Allah, bighafilin, is ghafil, is not ignorant, he is not unaware. Ghafal is like to be careless, to not know what's happening. Aware, he's not unaware. Amma, made of two words, anma, of that, ta'amalun, that the amal that you do, ain mim lam, the deeds of yours. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in these two ayat that you were told Bani Israel. This is basically again for Bani Israel, and from there we are learning what we are supposed to be doing. So Allah said that these are the things that you should never do to your own brothers, to your Muslim brothers. One, never kill Muslims. Two, do not, you know, force them to leave their houses. But what these people used to do was that if they would have to make allies, and allies are often made on a geographical basis. So if you live in a certain area, and because there was no police or army or those things in those times, so it was very important for people to be allied, to be linked with some other tribes for your protection. For something goes wrong with, in your field, you need somebody to judge that or help you figure out your problems with your neighbors. Somebody dies in an accident, what happened, some girl is in some kind of trouble, or some kid gets kidnapped. So you need that kind of support, and that was the tribal alliances. And then in those associations, or in those alliances, what used to happen was that if one of those tribes would have to go on war with somebody else in another area, whatever the religion would be, these people would have to either support them or support them in whatever ways, levels that they would want, and they would have to, whatever the contract is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that these Bani Israel, they cared so much about the worldly benefits that they did not care if they would have to go and fight their own brothers along with their non-Muslim allies. This happened also in the history in the time of the Prophet Yusha bin Nun, who came after Musa alayhi salam, and the Palestine was, they were able to enter the gates of Palestine. They started with Jericho. But this also happened in the time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were in Medina. There were many Jews, and they would just sometimes also fight, and then they would help each other with the war captives. So this is like completely losing in all ways, because it's, first of all, you're supporting non-Muslim against some Muslims, whether like even if your own Muslim brothers have to sacrifice their lives, or they have to leave their homes and everything. Another loss is that first the Muslims are like losing their own money and lives, and then they're losing further money by helping them, of course, which is the second part, is good to help them, the war captives. But then the Muslims become weaker and weaker financially as well by losing their money towards non-Muslims. Okay, then let's go to ayat number 86. Ulaika, those, allazina, are the ones who ishtaraw, shin raya, meaning trade, who have traded, who have exchanged, al hayat dunya, ha ya, and dal nun ba. So the life of this world, bil akhirati, with the life of akhirah, ukhar, hamza khara. So I might have gone over the root words of dunya and akhirah, but I will remind again. Dunya's root is dal nun waw, which also means very close by. Adna also comes from the derivation of dal nun waw. So if those who understand Urdu, Hindi a little bit, they might have heard the word adna. Adna means that it's the opposite of ala. So adna is low, or something that is smaller, and ukhar means further away, and comes later. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that people who care more about this dunya, it's as if they have traded that, okay, I don't really care if these were not abstract, these were some concrete things. So they're giving their akhirah to somebody and saying that I don't really care about what happens here. You can keep my akhirah, just give me the world. I want the benefits of this world. Fala, and not, so not, yukhaffafu, kha, fa, means to lighten. So, and it will not be lightened from them. What will not be lightened from them? Anhum, from them, al-azabu, the azab that was mentioned earlier, that they will be given ashaddu azab, the very extreme kind of punishment. walahum, and not they, yunsarun, nun swadra, nasr. They will not be helped. And nasr is a kind of help when somebody is in need and they are in desperate need of help. So they will not be helped because they seek help in this dunya, right? So let's do, so these 84, 85, 86 are related to the things that they were not supposed to do and they still did. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, so we do not repeat these mistakes. But unfortunately, we see in the Muslim world also similar things happen, that we don't care about our suffering Muslim brothers and sisters all over the world, and those who are in the top ranks in Muslims and have the authorities or have the ability or have some power to make some changes, they do not really care, because they care more about how, you know, the constructions, their big towers are being constructed, and you know, their big buildings are being constructed, and they are wearing like all the gold and all the things that they can. And this happens at all levels. Even our governments, they don't care about what is happening to the Muslims, at, you know, the poor Muslims, if they're suffering, if the economy is stable or not. All they care about is how much they can fill their own pockets, how much money they can get from, you know, being the rulers of any country, and how they can live a life of luxury, and how they can send their own children to study abroad and all those things. But they don't care about the own people within their economy, if they are able to eat 2 times or not, and what they're eating, and how, if their children are even getting basic health and education. So this is not, don't I, the examples that I'm trying to give is so you don't just think in terms of, okay, tribes and fighting and supporting and, you know, just war captives. This is all like to understand that we will give them zakat later on, or, you know, we'll give them food, but we are not making the infrastructure so strong enough for our Muslims to become better and progress in this dunya as well. We just care about our own riches. Okay, then let's move on to ayat where as there is a slight change in the topic. Now, from 87 to 91, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's kind of a summary starting from Musa alayhi salam to Isa alayhi salam, is the journey of kind of prophets of Bani Israel that came towards Bani Israel. Many prophets came. The time difference between Musa alayhi salam and Isa alayhi salam was almost 2000 years. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not mention the names of other prophets who came during that time. And Allah mentions how like the Bani Israel were so ungrateful for the biggest blessing that Allah has given on this nation, that Allah sent prophets upon prophets upon prophets. And Allah uses the word kafaina, which means chained, meaning like there were so many prophets that they were like chained. The chain is connected to each other parts, right? So there's, or sometimes there were even more than one prophets. And Allah mentions that what was your attitude towards that? You were treating them badly, you were not believing them, because you would not cooperate with them, because that would go against your benefits of this world. And then after Isa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam after a gap of 700 years. And Allah says that what did you do in those 700 years? You actually made du'as that, oh, there's the last prophet is going to come soon, last prophet is going to come soon, so much so that you were actually, it was mentioned in your books as well, and then you were actually waiting for the last prophet so much that you were, some of them were even naming their kids Muhammad. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finally sent the last prophet and the last book, you had the nerve to go against him also because of your prejudice that he was not from Bani Israel, he was from Bani Ismail. And let's do ayat number 87. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa and laqad, indeed, atayna, hamza taya, and it ends in na, which means we gave Musa alayhi salam al kitaba, the kitab, we know Torah. Wa and qafayna. Qafu is like a chain, just following up one thing after the other, connected. So we connected, we followed up min ba'dihi, after him, after Musa alayhi salam, bir rusuli, with the messengers, one after the other. They kept on coming. Wa and atayna Hamza Taya Isa ibn Maryama. Isa, the son of Maryam. So Allah mentions Musa's name and Isa alayhi salam's name because they were the start and the end of the Bani Israel lineage. Al-Bayyinati. So Allah sent Isa alayhi salam with Bayyinat. Bayanun means clear, not vague at all. Very, very clear signs. He was given the miracle of even waking up the deceased, the dead people. He was also given the miracle of creating clay birds and they would fly and putting life into them. This was all with the, of course, izn of Allah, with the permission of Allah. He had the ability, he had the miracle given to him was to heal the people with leprosy, to heal the blind people. So these are some that I'm mentioning, but there were a few more and we will do them in detail inshallah at another time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Atayna Isa ibn Maryam al-Bayyinat wa and ayyadnahu. Hamza yadal, which means support. It also means hand. In an expression in English, what do we say? Do you need a hand? Which means do you need any help? So ayyadnahu. So we supported him bi Ruhul Qudus. With Ruhul Qudus. Who is Ruhul Qudus? It's the title given to Angel Jibril. How was he given support by Angel Jibril? Because he did not have a father. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Angel Jibril to start his ruh in his mother's womb, Maryam alayhi salam. So Allah asked a question. Then first, so kullama, every time, kullama, kaf, lam, lam, kul, every single time, ja'akum, jim, ya, hamza, came to you, rasulun, a messenger. Every single time you had a messenger who came to you, bima, with what? La, not, tahwa, hawawiya, desire, wishes, anfusukum, your nafs. Every time you had a messenger who came to you, who was not according to your desires. So you liked to live the life like certain way, and whenever a messenger came whose teachings did not go according to exactly how you wanted it to go. We should all think about how we do our Islamic teachings and how we want to live. Then what did you do? Istakbartum. Kaf bara means kibr, which means to be proud, to be arrogant. So what did you do as a result? As a reaction, you showed arrogance. Did you not show arrogance? Every single time when the Prophet came and they did not go according to your desires, they did not command according to what you wanted to hear, did you not become arrogant? And then what else did you do? Fariqan, faraqaf means a group of kadhabtum, a group of you denied. Kaf zal ba, you did kiss, you denied them. And fariqan, and another group taqtulun, they went even further to kill those people because they didn't want to even listen to them. They didn't want them to hear them. So they wanted them completely out of the way. So a group of you denied, but there was also a group of you guys who actually went ahead and killed the prophets. Waqalu, and they said, Qulubuna, qaf lam ba means hearts, and na, our hearts. Gulfun, gulf is wrap. Just like we, in again Urdu or Hindi, you might also use the word for the pillowcase, the word ghilaf. So they said that our hearts are in a wrapper, covered. Bal, ne, la'anahumullahu, la'anat, Allah curses you. Lam, ainun, Allah curses those. For what reason? Bi kufrihim, for their kufr, for their disbelief. Allah curses them. So qalilan, qaf lam lam, very few of you, ma yu'minun, are those who believed. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said even when we did ayat number 83 related to the rights of parents and relatives and everyone else, right? That very few of you believed. So over here also we see that whenever the prophets were sent, mostly people did not believe or they went ahead and even killed them. And only very few of them believed in the prophets. Then ayat number 89, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that walamma, and when, remember when, ja'ahum, jim hamzaya, came to them, kitabun, a book. So this is what you did with the prophets, and now let's talk about the book. And when came to them, kitabun, a book, min indillahi, from Allah, musaddiqun, swad dal qaf, meaning that confirms, that speaks the truth, that strengthens. Lima, what was, ma'ahum, mim ain, which is already with them. What was with them? Allah mentions Torah, and then Bible also, because Isa alayhi salam received Bible. So that confirmed what was with them. These were the books with them. Even Bani Israel, they branched into Christianity and Judaism, and then they both had books, but Allah is saying both the books confirmed. When Quran came, that was confirmed by both the books. Wakanu, though they used to, min qablu, from before. So the books that they already had. What did they do? They used to do in those 700 years between Isa alayhi salam and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yastaftihuna. Fataha. Fatah means to be able to open something. Fath means opening, Fath means victory. Both are also connected. Victory is like an opening to a next level or a next land or anything, right? So they used to make dua for the victory, because they thought that, okay, when the last prophet will come, then the Muslims will be, we will be victorious. So they used to pray for victory, alal lazina kafaru, upon those who disbelieved. They used to think that, okay, things are going to be okay when the God will send prophet, and all of our miseries will go away, and then the Muslims will rule, over all the non-Muslim world and all those things. Alal lazina kafaru, upon those that disbelieved. Falamma, then when, so when actually what happened, when after 700 years Allah did send a prophet and a book. Falamma, then when, ja'ahum, came to them, ma, what, arafu, ain rafa, recognize, or maruf. So when they could, when they received something that they could immediately recognize, which was both the prophet and the book Quran, kafaru bihi, they disbelieved in it. Instead of immediately believing in it, instead of saying that, oh, this is what Allah had promised, this is the same prophet that Allah had promised, they disbelieved in it. Why? Because of their bias. Oh, he is not from Bani Israel, he cannot be the prophet, we don't believe in him. They are so arrogant that they also want to accept Islam on their own terms. So, فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ, and la'an is the word used again. Allah curses them. Alal kafirin, all those who disbelieve, or the disbelievers. Allah further curses them. Allah does not want to give them any respite, any warnings anymore. Bi'sama ishtarawud bihi. Bi'sama is meaning evil, bad, like talking as if, look at that, how bad they have chosen. Ba, Hamza, seen, like look at, like it could also be like a really bad, untidy as well. So, ba'as, how bad is it? Ishtarawu, shin raya, that they have traded, they have, exchanged, bihi, for themselves, anfusahum, themselves, ay yakfuru, that they disbelieve, they do the kufr, bima, in what? Anzalallahu, Noon Zailam, what Allah has revealed to them. Nazala, what is revealed from Allah to them. Baghyan, Baghayniya, because they are, they have the grudge against it. They are rebelling against it. What rebellion is usually like going against something, not even like, saying that, okay, I don't believe in it. Rebelling is actually going to another length. So they were really upset that they started changing. Remember, I told you that they would change the books, and they would have those meetings that don't tell the layman that this is already mentioned in the book. Otherwise, they will start becoming Muslims, and we will not have any following. So Allah mentions that bima anzalallahu baghyan an yunazzilallahu, that sends Allah, that was revealed by Allah, min fadlihi, because of his fazl. It was Allah's grace, Allah's mercy, that Allah sent another chance for them, so they can still go to Jannah if they would leave all the other religion, all their beliefs, and believe in Allah purely. Ala man yasha'u min ibadihi. So they did the baghi, they did the rebellion, that Yunazzilallahu, that Allah has revealed, min fadlihi, his fazl, ala man yasha'u, upon whom he wishes. They did not like the idea that Allah can send the book through whoever he wishes. Why did Allah choose somebody from Bani Ismail? Min ibadihi, from his servants. Okay, so in a way it's like, saying that, okay, they were upset because Allah chose to send his mercy or send his fazl, give his bounty to this person instead of their person. Faba'u, so they have meaning drawn on themselves. Basically they have ba waw hamza, so they have settled, or they have drawn, they have incurred, bi ghadabin ala, ba'un, the root is ba waw hamza, so they have, it is usually used for the word settled. So they have settled for, instead of being successful in the akhirah, they have settled for what? بِغَضَبٍ عَلَى غَضَبٍ, wrath upon wrath from Allah, the anger upon anger from Allah. One anger that they did not believe earlier, and they were not following the commands of Allah, not following the promises done by Allah, but they were also still prejudiced, and they were still rebelling against the Prophet and the book that was sent to them, even after their prayers that we want the last Prophet, just because of their bias. So they are they're settling, they're just accepting, they're drawing towards themselves the ghadab of Allah and wrath upon wrath. Walil kafirina, and for the disbelievers there is azabun muhin. Ha wa noon, it's a humiliating azab, meaning that without, they lose all the honor, all the respect. Wa, and is when qila, it is said, lahum, to them, aminu, believe, bima anzalallahu, upon which, that is nazala, revealed by Allah. What do they say? Qalu, they say, nu'minu bima, we believe. No, it starts with nu, right? Nu'minu bima, we believe in what? Unzila alayna, which was revealed upon us. Alayna is made of two words, ala, upon, na, us. So they say, no, we only believe in the books that were revealed on us. We only believe in the prophets that were sent to us. Okay? Wa, and yakfuruna, they do kufr, bima, in what? Wara'ahu, that is besides it. Meaning anything besides that, we do not believe in it. Waraya is the root. Wahu al-haqqu, while it is the truth. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that they have the nerve to say that even if it is haq, they're saying we will only believe in things that came to us. Musaddiqan lima ma'ahum, it confirms, musaddiq, it does the tasdeeq, sad dal qaf, of something that is with them. Kul, now Allah tells the Prophet to say, falima, then why? Then lima, why? Taqtuluna, you did the qatl, you did the killing of Anbiya Allah, of the prophets of Allah, because they did that in the past. Min qablu, before. In kuntum mu'minin, if you were believers, if you were such good believers, then why did you kill all the prophets that came before? Okay, so you can see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws a picture from Musa alayhi salam and till Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And also keep in mind, while these ayats are being recited, the mushrikeen are also listening, the Jews are also listening, the Christians are also listening, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to them how the things are unfolding, and then what your reactions were at every step of the time. Inshallah.